What's up everyone, Jonathan here from the French Canadian Studio. Hopefully everyone's going well. I'm going fantastic. So yeah, this week we're doing a bit more, this week was a bit of a weird week. I don't know why I started that way. This week was a bit of a weird week. Well, last week. So last week I took the big decision to re-optimize completely the game. I'm still actually not done while I'm recording this devlog. So basically what I decided to do is basically remodel everything with everything I've learned in the last couple of months and just simplify the game. And you'll see at the end there, I'll try to show a picture. Basically, if you understand game dev, I went from 1.4 million tries in the whole, just the first story of the game. I'm not even done the second story of the facility yet. Basically the first story had 1.4 million tries, and I got it all the way down to 200,000 tries for everything in the first story. So I did a lot of work for just that. Took me at least 4 to 5 days, and now I'm trying to, before I move on, I'm trying to create sort of an atlas for the game. And for the atlas, for instead of having multiple like different materials for every little walls and floor and light switch and all that, I decided to try to like do all the floors on one, all the walls on one, I was trying to do it all on one, but it was like even at 8K the smaller detail looked like crap, so I decided to divide it up into a smaller portion to make it work. So going down to like 4 or 5 texture maps instead of 10-20 texture maps per floor. So yeah, that's gonna help a lot. So anyway, before we start the video, of course, I would really appreciate if you go follow me everywhere. French Canadian Studio, FRCan Studio on Twitter, and French Canadian Studio everywhere else. Sketchfab, ArtStation, Instagram, Facebook too, where I post also in French and English. I try to, and yeah, of course, you can go check out my Patreon where you can support the development, all the games I'm working on, and of course, I'll try to start putting more of what I'm doing, the side projects I'm doing. I'm doing a lot more side projects lately too, like abstract wallpapers. Doing sort of motion graphics, 3D logos, blah blah, all those kind of things, just to expand my area expertise, to try to get various ways of incomes and just practice my modeling in different ways to help me out. So if you want to go check that out, patreon.com/freetimegamer, to see all the cool little feature you can get by joining the Patreon, and of course your name gets mentioned here. Besides that, let's get into the small little video. It's not going to be a long one because it's basically the same thing. Alright, so here I get started. Basically, this is where I'm like taking the decision of what I'm going to do. Finally decided just to remove the, basically remove all the 2x4s and all that. Right now, what happened at the beginning, everything I did at the beginning, I was trying, which I shouldn't have, is try to do everything modular in my game. Which is a good idea in theory when you know what you're doing, but when you don't know what you're doing, it's a bit harder to do. So yeah, I'm trying. Basically, I joined everything together, but I didn't remove the lines in the middle of the floor, so it looked really weird. So I had to readjust all of that, to take off all. Just that took out so much like useless geometry that wasn't necessary. And after that, eventually when I'm done with the floors, I move on to the walls. The walls were a bit harder. I didn't thicken them up because if you saw a couple of my past video, I don't know if I mentioned in the other videos, I was having issues with in Unity light passing through walls when I'm trying to like put in shadows and ambient occlusion and all that. So hopefully by bringing the walls a bit thicker and just making the proper geometry for it will work out in my favor a lot better. So we'll have to see that once I import it back into Unity, see what it gives. So basically, yeah, I'm still working the floors. That was just a long process of one by one. I still have to do that, like I said, for the second floor. That's going to take a long time. So yeah, it's just like taking all the experience. That's the good side and the bad side. Like good thing is now I'm going to be able to, a lot more people are probably going to have an easier time playing the game, since they're not going to be bogged down by so much calculation and triangle calculations, all those things. But at the same time, now I'm wasting 2 weeks just re-optimizing the game, which is fine. I don't mind. I really enjoy modeling. I really enjoy working with Blender because it is a very interesting program once you understand. Here is something I wasn't able to fix, but I think I'm going to leave it because I tried screwing around with it way too long. Was for some reason, once I tried to reorient my floor, it seems like there's like a double seam. Anyway, I think here I try to fix it again in this video. See, there's like 2 tiles that match up perfectly for some reason when they're trying to be offsetted from one another, and tried a couple of things, it still didn't work. I left it. It looked like a little pattern. It's going to look cool for what I want to do. But anyway, yeah, we keep going. Now I'm readjusting the whole hallway. Here I have to make it look as best as I can. I'm trying to make it like quads as much as possible. You don't want big faces because then the shading is going to look weird and all that. So it worked out pretty good. Once I understood like what I wanted to do with it, it worked out perfectly. Then I readjusted the thickness of the floor, readjusted the pattern a bit, because that was the hardest thing to do, was just readjusting the freaking pattern all the time. And then from there, yeah, square it up a bit more, and then trying to line the... That's what sucks about having multiple top faces, is just trying to make it all fit together. And this is where I started the floor. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I clear all the seams. I also did that. I unwrapped everything at once to make it easier for when I get to the atlas. And this is where I tried to figure out the best way to do the corners, because there's way too many loops for no reason. And then I decided, why not just merge them in the corner, like I don't know if we can see it here, but yeah, I basically take the edges and then just squish them together. So instead of it's doing a 45-degree joint, let's say, in the corner, instead of having a tiny square edge inside. I didn't do it just yet, but I did do it a bit later. I readjusted this one after. Then after that, just adding cuts, so everything, there's no shading issue once I get the textures on. That was the important part, and that's what took a bit longer in this part, and it's going to be longer when I do the second floor too. So basically, that's what I did. I could have recorded another 20 hours of this last week, but I had other things to deal with. So yeah, that's basically all I did for this week. I think yeah, I'd have to do the offset because there's a weird cutout here for the beginning of the game, and there is one later in the game too. And I added some 2x4s back, and then you see it's basically all. That's what it is for the other minute of the video. But I want to thank you so much for stopping watching the video. Not a so productive week. It is a it stopped, but it hasn't been like a highly productive week when it comes to my game. But I did do a lot of cool stuff that you can go check out everywhere. FRKN Studio. Definitely go give it a check. As I'm doing this, I'm also rendering a cool little project right now. I'll post a video and also a time lapse of that, so definitely go check it out if you feel so inclined to do so. Would really appreciate that. Of course, go follow me everywhere, FRKN Studio, on Twitter, and French Canadian Studio, ArtStation Sketchfab, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, I'm going to try to stream a bit more of the process when I'm doing this, since I'm at home a bit more if you enjoy so. And of course, you can go support the channel on patreon.com/French Canadian Studio, where you can get all the cool little things, and I'm hoping to put some of my projects of the stuff I've done with everything I'm doing lately, so check that out. It's coming soon if I get a couple minutes to do so. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Keep on keeping on.